New documents released. Is the mystery of John F. Kennedy's assassination close to being solved? 72 years after the assassination of the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, the case resurfaces again, captures American public attention following the release of new documents by the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration regarding the assassination that took place on November 22, 1963. According to the official narrative, Kennedy was assassinated while traveling in an open motorcade in Dallas by a lone gunman. Lee Harvey Oswald police arrested the 24-year-old shooter, a former Marine who had positioned himself on the 6th floor of a building. 2 days later, Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, shot and killed Oswald while he was being transferred from prison. Ruby was convicted of murder in 1964, but he appealed the ruling in 1966. He died the following year from a pulmonary embolism before his retrial could begin. More than 2,000 new documents released. In February, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, announced that it had found 2,400 new pages of documents related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Now the Trump administration has released around 2,200 files related to the assassination, which includes 63,000 pages published on the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration website. President Trump confirmed that the documents would be released without redaction, but a recent review confirmed that some information had indeed been withheld, according to the New York Times. The evaluations of the roughly 2,200 files released by the National Archives came with a warning, stating no one has had enough time until Wednesday to review more than a small portion of them. The vast majority of National Archives records, over 6 million pages, of records, photos, films, audio recordings, and artifacts related to the assassination had been released previously. What did the new documents contain? A preliminary review by the Associated Press of over 63,000 pages of records released this week revealed that some of the documents were not directly related to the assassination, but instead dealt with covert operations by the CIA, particularly in Cuba. The agency stated nothing in the initial documents reviewed undermines the conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman in Dallas on November 22, 1963. The National Archives declassified these documents in compliance with an executive order issued by Trump in January, which called for a full and complete release of the assassination files. Immediately following the release, National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard issued a directive requiring all unredacted records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy to be provided to the National Archives and Records Administration, NRA, for immediate release. The director emphasized that the president's commitment to transparency ensured that the Kennedy assassination records, along with those related to civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. and former Senator Robert F. Kennedy, would be declassified. The Kennedy Assassination Document Series. This is not the first time that documents regarding Kennedy's assassination have been revealed. Previously, documents were released in 2017 when Trump first took office. These documents included a 1975 CIA memorandum stating that a comprehensive review of the records showed Oswald had no connection to the CIA, contrary to what many conspiracy theorists had suggested. Although Trump declared in 2017 that he would declassify all documents, he withheld some for national security reasons, according to the Associated Press. Later, former President Joe Biden issued another batch of assassination-related documents in 2022, but many of them remain classified. The assassination enigma. These newly revealed documents are significant because the John F. Kennedy assassination case remains unresolved, even after more than 7 decades since the event. According to Axios, the recently released documents may be linked to a lawsuit filed by the Mary Farrell Foundation in 2022 against the Biden administration. The lawsuit claims that the federal government possesses more documents than previously disclosed regarding the assassination. The legal action alleges that these hidden documents include tapes of Carlos Marcello, who claimed involvement in the assassination, as well as CIA files on Officer George Ioannidis, according to Axios. Ioannidis had worked with a group of exiles funded by the CIA in New Orleans, and Oswald was in contact with them in the weeks leading up to the shooting. Documents revive conspiracy theories. The recently revealed documents have reignited conspiracy theories about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The most common conspiracy theory surrounding the assassination claims that Oswald, a former Marine and communist activist who spent some time in the Soviet Union, did not act alone, according to The Independent. The Warren Commission, led by Chief Justice Earl Warren, concluded that Oswald was the only person involved. However, this investigation faced criticism from scholars and historians, as reported by CBS News in 1976. Following the Watergate scandal, the House Select Committee on Assassinations was formed to reinvestigate the assassination. Once again, the committee concluded that Oswald acted alone. However, it also suggested the possibility of a conspiracy involving a second gunman on the grassy knoll overlooking the route Kennedy's motorcade took, according to the Washington Post. The theory of the second gunman did not hold up for long, but it reinforced theories suggesting that Oswald may have had an accomplice. The Umbrella Man. Another popular theory involves a figure known as the Umbrella Man, a person seen in the crowd carrying a black umbrella despite the sunny weather. Speculation circulated that the man used the umbrella to launch a dart into Kennedy's neck, paralyzing him, which allowed Oswald to deliver the fatal shot. In 1976, the House Committee identified the Umbrella Man as Louis Stephen Witt, who revealed during a hearing that the umbrella did not contain any mechanism for launching darts or bullets, and that he had brought it to the Kennedy motorcade as a form of protest against the then president, according to the Washington Post. The newspaper noted that Witt described it as a silly joke, referencing the black umbrella that British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain used. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was once Trump's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services, has previously called for full disclosure of information related to the assassinations. He believes that the murders of both Kennedy and his father, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, were part of a larger conspiracy, according to Axios. Although the newly released documents do not provide a definitive answer regarding Kennedy's assassination, they help historians better understand the CIA's operations during the Cold War, as stated by Unveiled National Security Attorney Mark Zaid to the Associated Press. In your opinion, do the newly released documents reveal the truth about Kennedy's assassination, or will they only add more mystery and fuel conspiracy theories?
Dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesem Jahr für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit...